Time for the continuation of Colonel Burton versus the General. So this time it's going to be General Granger. Now the question is, can Colonel Burton beat General Granger on his own? The answer to that question is yes, but we need a lot of saves to actually make it work. Now I don't think that I'm going to be able to replicate what I did in the testing. So let me just show you. I needed this in terms of saves to actually beat General Granger here. And like I said, I don't think I can replicate all of that into a recording. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to load up the saves and basically break down what was going on during the battle. And that way you've got a picture of how I actually pulled it off. So good way to start is at the beginning. So the first couple of saves are going to be very self-explanatory. We're at the very beginning of the mission. I always leave a save right at the beginning, that way I don't have to sit through the cutscenes over and over. So, Burton here, that's right after I got Burton, and then I would sell off my buildings, like I've done with General Tao and Dr. Thrax. And then I just get Burton to move to our next destination. So that's that save there. Now, I did count up the saves. There are 67 saves total. So if you exclude those first two saves, we'll just say 65. Now, this save here, I took Burton to this part of the map, the very top. Now, my intention here was to actually get Colonel Burton to vet up. So, I wanted to try and take down those two planes. I couldn't do it, so I ended up getting Burton over to here, and that's what's going to lead us to the next save. Some of these saves are just me moving Burton from one spot to another, just so I don't have to move him to that second spot over and over again. So that's what some of those saves are going to be. I think it's the fourth save. 12:49 a.m. See? So that's all it was just me moving from there to there. And in this case, I ended up getting Burton to shoot the airfield. Come on, punk. And then I moved him away. And it is possible for Burton to survive. So let me run through that again. Where are you? Save. This one?
I've seen it all. This is too easy. Let's get to the action. I'll take anything.
And not quite. But in any case, just to explain what actually happened, I was able to take shots at the airfield, and I was able to dodge those Aurora bombers and Raptors. And then what happened was the bombers and the Raptors, they went into this airfield here, and then I was able to use Burton to shoot the Aurora bombers, which got him to Vet 2. So that's what happened. I'll try one more time just so I can get it, otherwise we'll just move on.
Colonel Burton here. Let's see what you got. Let's get to the action.
And then we move.
Our Colonel Burton has been
So, kind of like that.
I'll be there.
In this case, though, the Raptors are able to detect the stealth, so that so those three attempts didn't work out. But yeah, you get the idea. I did get him to Vet 2 by shooting the planes after successfully dodging the Raptors and the bombers. So my version of Granger has access to the carpet bomb, so I've also got to stay on my toes here because the carpet bomb could take down Burton. Since Burton's the only thing I have, it means he's the most expensive thing I own, and by default, the carpet bomber is going to target him. So with Burton, I moved him away from that spot, I dodged the carpet, and then I climbed up this cliff to then try and get a hold of the power plants. And as you can see, that airfield's a little bit damaged. So in the run where I got him to Vet 2, the planes actually damaged the airfield a little bit for me. I didn't destroy it, but I was at least able to get the planes. That'll self-heal back to full health anyway, so, you know, no big deal. So there you see Burton, again, just travel, you know, cutting down on travel time. And from this spot, I was able to take down this power plant specifically. I take a few shots and then stop.
Let's get to the action.
And then the planes would swoop in, but because Burton would disappear because of the stealth, I don't have to worry about it. So, few shots, 1, 2, 3. I use the sound of his shots to try and do the counting. Since he's vet 2, I count it faster. If it was unvetted, then you count 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So I did that same process with the power plants, and that took down the power. So yeah, again, pretty self-explanatory. We took down the 3 power plants, and then that rendered the Patriots to be offline, and then we took down this airfield next, doing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, stop.
Let's see what you've got.
Now, sometimes the power plant scaffolds can cause me to misclick when I want to move Colonel Burton out of the way, because those bombers could wipe him out. 3, stop. Yeah, because he's a little bit closer. He was shooting from there before, now he's shooting from there. So I gotta sometimes count maybe to 2. So I might go 1, 2, stop.
I'll be there.
And then they'll fly off. 1, 2, stop.
Right here.
So we've taken that down, and then I wanted to take aim at this airfield next. Same process, so I'll move on. And that dozer that's next to the airfield doesn't actually matter. Even with the dozer repairing it, I can still out-damage the airfield with that staggered shooting as well. So, 2 AF down,
Keeping it cool.
and we're here.
Let's get to the action.
So I did try and go for the dozer a little bit. I can do a little bit of shooting.
Let's get to the
And then we just gotta play dodge the Aurora Bombers and Raptors.
Come on, punk. I'll be there. Let's get to the action.
He's got that many planes to dodge, and because he's got so many King Raptors, and the King Raptors can detect the stealth, I cannot go anywhere near this area. So yeah, you'll probably be wondering, okay, how do you take it down then? Because you got to destroy the supply center to beat Granger. Don't have to worry about the supply drop zones though. Alright, next save, we've got dozers down. So at this point, I ended up taking down both of Granger's dozers, and what I did was I ended up waiting for the dozers to come to this area to build up some power plant scaffolds, lured the dozers over there, then used Burton to shoot them. Now the Comanches here, they're far away enough that I won't lure them. Now some of these Comanches are a little bit different. So these 3 Comanches here will always return to command center. These 2, and then there's like a couple over here as well. If you're shooting from, let's say over here, you will get the attention of the Comanches.
Where are we going?
And then they'll just stay there like that.
I'll take anything you give me.
So it is possible to lure the Comanches to an area where you could actually do more damage with Burton, but also conversely, you could end up luring the Comanches over to, you know, buildings that you actually want to destroy, making it harder to actually destroy them, because you take one shot and there's like 5 Comanches, you're gone. So we'll move on to our next save.
Keeping it cool. I'll be there.
Now, Granger is probably the easiest general, or at least one of the easiest generals to financially drain. They don't have as much starting cash compared to other generals, so it's easier for them to run out of cash, and then as a result they won't be able to rebuild their buildings or build up more planes. So with General Granger, it's kind of an issue that he's got these supply drop zones, because it means that he can actually remain in the game pretty much indefinitely, financially speaking, meaning he'll be able to keep rebuilding his power plants and his airfields. I got this dozer at, I got him into the red, so that would mean the speed is slowed down. He can move more slowly to get to the building he wants to rebuild, but
Right here.
I thought if I kept him at this point, it would be more beneficial. Eventually, I think I did destroy him though. Oh, yep. At this point, I wanted to make some moves with Colonel Burton, so I did destroy that dozer like I mentioned. I wanted to go after the airfields as well as the power plants.
Needs an attitude adjustment. No obstacles.
Our
Where are we going?
And I tried to take advantage of the Aurora Bombers and the King Raptors and using their shots to take out the airfield for me. It can work, but again, the stealth detection on the Raptors is the key part of this. You've got to be able to trigger those Raptors and Aurora Bombers, but also make it so they don't, you know, return to this area and then go for a second set of shots, because sometimes the King Raptors might fire 2 of their missiles, sometimes they might fire 6 of their missiles. It really depends on how they behave. So one thing I forgot to mention with this save is that during my attempts to go for the airfield and the power plants, I did notice that there was going to be a dozer coming out of that command center. So what actually happened next was I moved Colonel Burton down to this area here because the dozer is actually going to try and rebuild the power plant. So that's going to lead us into our next save. So our next save is going to be this one here, 1:39 a.m. So yeah, as you can see, dozer's there. I stopped him once, stop him again, and there is also a carpet bomb.
No obstacles. Where are we going?
So carpet bomb wanted to go for Burton.
I'll be there.
Thankfully, the carpet bomb went for the dozer instead, and so now all I can do is get my Burton back into position, try and go for the airfield, or in this case, we go for the dozer again, so I have to return back to position. So I can't do the thing I want to do because the dozer is going to rebuild the power plants and then restore the power. So that was sort of the dilemma that I was facing. See, I was trying to move Burton, and so far so good.
No obstacles.
Can't go near those airfields whilst the Raptors are in the airfield.
Needs an attitude adjustment.
So I can take a few shots.
Take anything you
Our
get.
Colonel
Let's get to the action.
Unit
But yeah, it's a case where those Raptors were they were all over the place, and yeah, can't really get a good hold over the airfield with those Raptors like that because the Comanches will just finish him off.
Deadly.
So yeah, once again, I made my attempt, couldn't get it. I did manage to get those 2 power plants,
No obstacles.
and I am not going to be able to stop the dozer from building up this power plant, but I can stop the dozer from building up these 2. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wait, and there we go.
I'll take anything.
So I
you
can
get.
take a few shots,
Let's get to the action. I'll be there.
and then play dodgeball with the Aurora Bombers. I can take
Come on, punk.
2 more shots,
Where are we going? I'll take anything you give me.
and this dozer, I believe he wants to go for these 2 power plants here. I can't attack this power plant because of those 3 Comanches, and the only way to really get them out of the way is to lure them by basically control firing with Burton to a different spot.
Keeping it cool.
So at this point,
Where are we going?
I ended up using Burton to basically fire on the power plants,
No obstacles.
and then using those 2 Aurora Bombers to destroy the power plants for me. So I'd be firing from like here and then running. And let me just backtrack to the other save, just so I can give you a quick demo. This one.
Keeping it cool.
So I couldn't get that one.
Where are we going?
So I
I'll
can
be
go to
there.
these 2. And then wait for the Aurora Bombers to circle around like that.
Yeah. I'll take anything you give me. No.
And that's how you destroy the power plants quickly with the bombers. Although my aim was a little off, I didn't get both power
This
plants.
is it.
But it's a good way for me to quickly destroy the power plants and prevent the dozer from putting those Patriots back online. I cannot afford that to happen. So where's me Burton? Ah, there he is. He's hiding from me. So this dozer
What do you
is
got?
going to try and rebuild that. I can easily stop him.
Come on, punk.
But at this point, the dozer would have rebuilt all 3 of those power plants.
Keeping it cool. No obstacles.
And ooh,
This is General Granger to
just avoided it.
I'll be there.
Send reinforcements.
So yeah, it was another one of those times where I saved it right before the carpet bomb had actually happened.
Let's see
As I was able to dodge that. I can't remember if I got the strategies. I think I used Burton to destroy the strategy center with the assistance of the bombers. Yeah,
deadly efficient.
I didn't use,
Let's see
yeah, that's right, the bomber got to the airfield.
going.
Our Colonel Burton
Ooh.
has been
I'll
detected.
be
Oh, I'm gone anyway. Yeah, I believe the carpet bomber went for that airfield, and I was able to dodge it, but the airfield wasn't destroyed, it just got damaged a little bit.
I don't know. Let's get to the action.
Our
So I was trying to basically take out the airfield multiple times like this, and I did eventually destroy the airfield. I mean, you can see 3 AF, 4 AF, so I was making good progress. So next save would be 3 AF gone. But yeah, I didn't destroy this one, I destroyed this one.
Deadly.
The dozer was repairing that one, so I didn't really have a good chance on it.
Attitude adjustment. Colonel Burton here. Where are we going?
Now, the Strat Center, as you know, that's going to be responsible for the carpet bomb. So I was thinking about keeping that in play and then letting the carpet bomb do some of the work for me. But the problem with that is I have no idea when the carpet bomb is actually going to fire. Now, the carpet bomb is usually a 2-minute 30-second cooldown on it. But I don't know, it seemed like the times where it was actually happening were very inconsistent. So it was more like every 5 or 10 minutes. Very hard to really keep track of any of it. So we were able to get rid of that third airfield.
I'll be there.
They can rebuild the airfield, so sometimes they might prioritize airfield over power plant. And that can be kind of a bad thing because we need to get rid of the airfields in order to really make any progress at dealing with all of this.
Efficient.
So in this one, I ended up using the Aurora bombers to take out the power plant. I was trying to get rid of this airfield specifically. I was hoping that I could basically get the bombers to touch down here, and then I'd have a better chance at destroying the bombers individually with Burton.
What do you got? Where are we going?
But yeah, even firing like this, and also there's 2 Comanches here, so it's a bad idea to do that.
I'll be there. I'll take
It's survivable, depending on how the Raptors move.
I win. You lose.
And just like before, it takes multiple attempts just to get that one attack to go right. So in this one, I was able to take advantage of the Aurora bombers. So they just came back into the air, so they were able to shoot that, and then Burton finishes off the job there.
This is too easy. Where are we going?
And I can go for the power plants as well. Could go 1, 2, 3.
Let's
And
get
then-
to the action.
Oh, not quite.
Let's get to the action.
But the more I shoot, the more these Comanches are going to close in on me.
Get me out of here. No obstacles.
No, you're not going anywhere.
Let's get to the action.
You stay in this base, at least for now. So something I forgot to mention is that in this save here at 1:55 AM, there's all of these raptors that you can see, right? So what happened, right, is that I got the Aurora bombers to take down the 4th airfield, like I mentioned before, but I also got all these raptors to attack Colonel Burton, and because there was only 1 airfield left, it meant that 2 bombers and 2 raptors had touched down at this airfield. The rest of the raptors actually ran out of fuel and got destroyed on their own. So I figured I'd let you know about that, because that is one important detail, and it also meant that I didn't have to worry too much about the stealth detection because there's only 2 raptors left instead of however many is in the sky hovering above the base right now. I think there's like 4 or 8 or something like that. So yeah, definitely got cut down to size. I figured I'd mention that. My next file is the Strat Center gone. So I did make the move to get rid of the Strat Center. I was, like, my original plan for the command center.
I'll be there.
So yeah, the plan for that was to basically get Colonel Burton to attack the command center and let the bombers attack the area and damage the command center for me. And then hopefully, that's the bad part of the plan. Hopefully a Carper bomber comes and attacks it as well. Because I don't know the consistency of the Carper bomber, how on earth do I make that plan work? And the other thing is, with 3 Comanches hovering over there, 3 over there, and then another 3 over there, how on earth do I take a shot and survive? I could do that. I mean, sometimes the bombers will just take him out for me and, you know, put me out of my misery. But you get the idea. The plan to get rid of the command center is so far a work in progress by this point. Okay, so at this point, I was getting rid of more power plants, just trying to do as much damage as possible with Burton. I at least know by this point that the power is very unlikely to come back on, because we've already destroyed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power plants. He's still got those 3. So it is still possible for him to go back on, but as long as I've got Burton around to keep shutting down those scaffolds, we're in good shape. But like I said before, the problem is these 3 buildings, that supply center, and then all of that. Next file, dozer gone.
What do you got?
So pretty self-explanatory. We used Burton to destroy the dozer that was hovering around here, and the reason why we want to get rid of the dozers is to prevent the rebuilds. However, he's got those 2 supply drop zones, so he's going to rebuild the dozer anyway. There's no way around it, but it does mean that there's going to be less scaffolds going up with the dozer. So I think 2 supply drop zones, so he's going to get a little over $3,000 from that every 2 minutes. So that would mean maybe like 3 power plant scaffolds, roughly. Something like that. So this was my first attempt at getting rid of the command center, so it was possible to damage it with the bombers and get Colonel Burton to survive it. The problem with this is I would have to get that to work like 3 or 4 times in order to destroy the command center. If the strat center was intact, again, I would have to hope that the Carper bomber can do enough damage whilst the command center is damaged. But
No obstacle.
yeah, it's
Where are we going?
one of those things where it's like the lottery. You're gonna be damn lucky if you actually hit on it. But I gotta be able to hit on it, you know, multiple times. Look at all these Comanches. It is a bad day to be Colonel Burton. So there's Burton. So I was sort of back in this area trying to wipe out this airfield.
Be there.
Dozer came back into play wanting to stop me, so I had to come back here to
Anything you get.
take out the dozer.
Our Colonel Burton has been detected.
I was a little bit slow there, but I did go for the dozer. I need to shut him down so the power doesn't come back on. Okay, next one, dozer gone.
Seen it all.
So I did destroy that dozer. Basically, just stop, shoot, stop, shoot, stop, shoot over and over again until we get it. And the Comanches are closing in on me.
I'll be there. Let's get
And
to
I've
the
just got to keep picking my targets right.
Keep
Ah, yep, now I recall. So my target wasn't the airfield or the power plant. I decided to change my tactics because I felt like I was going in limbo there. I changed my tactics because I thought the best move would be to go after the supply drop zone. And I thought, well, if it's the money that's keeping him in the game, I may as well try and destroy that, and that will slow down Granger's ability to rebuild the dozers, but also put up the scaffolds for the power plants and airfields. So that was my game plan. I also managed to get this Comanche to go over here. So it is possible to lure the Comanches outside of Granger's base. But it only affects those ones that were, you know, the ones around the airfields. So not the 3 that were at the command center and like the 6 or so that were at the supply drop zone that's on the left.
I'll take anything.
Okay, let's see what happened. So yeah, Dozer's coming into play. I gotta stop him so then I don't let power come back on.
I'll be there.
And they're gonna try and do that. I can also take a few shots if I want.
Our Colonel Burton has been detected.
Come on, punk.
Bang,
Let's
done.
get to the action.
As long as the Dozer doesn't do anything, we're good. So pretty straightforward there.
Keeping it
So yeah, same thing. I'd taken a few shots on the Dozer, and I'm just biding my time. I know the Dozer wants to rebuild this power plant, but the only way that's going to work out is if he gets money. And I can't exactly make a move on the Dozer
perfection.
because he's got all those Comanches keeping him company. I could
Where we going?
hide over here because that Comanche's there. That Comanche's there, but one Comanche isn't going to be enough to stop my Burton. It'll damage him a little bit, but not enough to actually take him out. Where are you, Burton?
Deadly.
There he is. So this is when I was trying to make a move on the supply drop zone.
Our Colonel
This
Burton
is too easy.
So I can destroy it, but I can't destroy it and survive. That was the issue I was facing.
Win, you lose.
But I know by taking that out, I greatly hamper Granger's ability to make a comeback. I think it was... Oh yeah, so 233, 230. So I basically dropped saves less than a minute apart. But yeah, I was able to get an attempt in where I took down the supply drop zone.
Train for perfection.
I will take that scaffold down
Where we going? I own him.
and basically just keep whittling down the Dozer.
I'll be
So we stop him there, and I did manage to use Colonel Burton to shoot down the Dozer and survive the Comanches and the other planes. So I can take that down too, and then I can move on to attacking Granger's other buildings again. Ah, yeah, the same scaffold.
This is too
Yeah, so I went here, again, this is another attempt at the airfield.
Come on, punk. No obstacles. No
Our
obstacles.
Colonel Burton has been detected.
So, it is possible, but as you can see, I got 1 HP Burton right now. So I could take a shot and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he's gonna go.
Defend the airfield.
So that's just greed, but it is possible with like maybe 2 shots, because that was like 4 shots, because it's like da 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 da. If it was da 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 da, that would have been enough.
What do you got?
Oh yeah, so I dropped the save after damaging the airfield with the bombers, and I think I was going to rely on the bombers to finish the job.
Unit lost.
Because, yeah, I got these 3 Comanches as well, so I think I made a good move dropping the save and then just repeatedly trying to avoid those Comanches from taking me out. So, yeah, once again,
Here.
Burton has taken down the airfield, and I can now move on to other buildings. The thing is, if we take down all 5 of these airfields, it means that if we get attacked by the Aurora bombers and the Raptors, and Burton survives, it means those planes will be up in the air and they'll run out of fuel and they'll destroy themselves on their own. So that was the plan for that. The only downside to that plan is actually going to be the bombers. That was what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, well, if I lose the bombers, it means that I do lose a lot of the damage output, and I'd have to rely on just Burton alone to destroy the remaining buildings and avoid the Comanches. Another upside, though, is that with the Raptors gone, no more stealth detection. So you got to take the good with the bad here. So with this save, I wasn't exactly sure what to do next. We got the Dozer next to the power plant, but I thought to myself, well, he wants to probably rebuild this power plant here because that's still gone. So I wanted to have Colonel Burton sort of in an area where if he rebuilds a scaffold here, I can cover it. if he rebuilds a scaffold here, I can cover it with Burton and just prevent him from rebuilding. So that was my game plan next. I could also use Burton to try and pick off another power plant or two, taking advantage of those bombers. So there was some firing involved as well. Now that's going to lead us into the next save. So this is when things started to go a little bad for me. So if we go to 244, the dozer decided to rebuild the airfield, and because I was like over this area trying to make sure that I'm covered against the power plant here and the power plants here, yeah, I can't stop him from rebuilding that airfield. He's got those 3 Comanches as well, so even if I take pot shots and go, you know, shoot, stop, that's gonna happen. So yeah, as a result, he got his airfield back. So now I've got to deal with 2 airfields again. So we're gonna go to our next save.
Colonel Burton.
And yeah, we're sort of still kind of in limbo here. By this point, I was starting to, you know, I was starting to give up. I was not in a good state of mind. It was getting kind of late. I was working on this project for multiple hours. So yeah, I was definitely kind of fatigued by that point. I'm still able to, you know, stop the dozer from rebuilding power plants, but it's just that question of how do you deal with a command center and a supply center with all of this? So those were my questions. So we're going to go to our next save, which was the last save of the night, 2:48 a.m. And I had taken out the dozer that was hovering around there, but of course they rebuilt the dozer. And even with the 1 supply drop zone, they're still going to be able to keep rebuilding their dozers and then build up those power plant scaffolds or an airfield scaffold if they want to rebuild an airfield. But yeah, I kind of felt like I'd been beaten by this point, and so I decided to actually give up. And so I gave up until the 23rd. So I took a day off and I came back to the same challenge. You know, going from this same save. So we go from 6:13 a.m. on the 23rd. So here I was actually starting to hatch a plan.
Train for perfection.
My plan was to lure the Comanches. So I can lure these ones, and I can lure those ones outside of Granger's base. As you can see, I've lured this Comanche here to this part of the map. So surely I can do it with these 2 Comanches. Surely I could do it with the other Comanches that are, you know, a bit more north. One of the downsides is going to be the Raptors, of course, so there's no guarantee I'll be able to get it all in one attempt. But yeah, it was starting to look up in a way, but at the other end of it, the dozer was rebuilding those power plants. So again, you take the good with the bad. So at this save here, right, I could use my Colonel Burton to go over to the dozer and destroy the dozer with the assistance of the bombers as well, if I want to. It is awfully risky with all of those Comanches, of course, but I'm not going to do that. Like I said before, I think the best move for me is to start luring the Comanches. So what I did with Burton is I actually climbed up this cliff here and I started control firing on the cliff to try and lure these 2 Comanches. Now I had 1 Comanche lured to about this section here, so he wasn't really much of a threat anymore. So like I said, control fire and then lure. We will take some damage here and there, but as long as we can just get these 2 Comanches out of aggro range, that would be great, because then I can just focus on destroying those 3 power plants without any interference at all from the 3 Comanches. So that one didn't exactly want to follow along, but you get the idea. We ended up luring the Comanches to about here, so I'll go to my next save. So here are the Comanches. So we've lured them out pretty far. I could go further if I want to, and really make sure that they're not going to interfere. So, like I said, that is definitely an option. So we'll jump ahead one more time. 623. So I decided to lure him just a tiny bit more to about there. And I've climbed up the cliff and we're back to here. There is absolutely no way those Comanches are going to hit me. And now I can take aim at the power plants. Just like at the beginning of the video, I got to do the same thing. I take a few shots. 1, 2, 3, stop. Because the Raptors are still a thing here. So I got to make sure to avoid the Raptors and the Aurora Bombers too. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, done. And that's what I did. I ended up taking down all 3 of those power plants again, just using that same method of 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. Next up, we've got power down again. So this is when I actually started naming some saves. And pretty self-explanatory. We've took down the power plants. We've shut down the power. His dozer has rebuilt some of the power plants. And he wants to rebuild this power plant, which is kind of a good thing for me. The Comanches are lured over here, so it does mean that I could aim at the dozer and slow him down even further, which is exactly what we do. I have to take a few shots because of those Raptors and Bombers, but I am able to take down the dozer. So we'll move on to 1 hour in. So again, pretty self-explanatory. We're an hour into this challenge, and we've still got quite a ways to go. But at this point, I wanted to try and make moves against the other Comanches as well, see if I can lure them to different parts of the map, and then that way I make it easier on myself to take down the power plants and take down the remaining airfields too. So we'll jump ahead one more time. We've got this one. So this save file, I wanted to try and take aim at the airfield, and I know I got one Comanche there, so that could be an issue. So I'll have a go. It is at least possible to take down that power plant, and then I can use the knife attack if I want to. I could very well just shoot the Aurora Bombers if I really want to, but if I do that, I am going to take away my own attack power because I won't be able to destroy those buildings as efficiently as before, because I can just keep dodging the bombers. As long as I keep surviving the attacks, we're good. Now the dozer, he's still chilling at the command center. Since it's one drop zone left, Granger's got to wait for some supplies to come in, and then he can actually start rebuilding his power plants. So my next save is 4 airfields down, no Auroras. So I did mention before that if I destroyed the Aurora Bombers, it would take away my own attack power, making it harder for me to destroy Granger's remaining buildings. Now, what happened was actually kind of an accident. I ended up taking aim at this airfield with Colonel Burton, and the bombers and some Raptors came into play. They took aim and the airfield got destroyed, but the bombers, either they got destroyed by their own bombs because they were sort of going downwards as if they were trying to touch down into that airfield that we were attacking, and it could be their own bombs. It also could have been the Raptors' missiles firing. It was one of those two things, but in any case, the bombers got destroyed alongside this airfield too. Now, what we've got going on over here is we got Colonel Burton. I just stopped him from moving because I got Granger's voice lines turned on, so I didn't want to get interrupted. Now, we've got a Comanche over here, so if I want to, I could always just control fire here and lure the Comanche even more further left. Now, if I go back into this save, let's go here. Let's have a look. Where's Colonel Burton going? I got him climbing down the mountain and going down this way. I thought maybe it would be better to get him back inside Granger's base and assess the situation, because Granger can also rebuild this airfield and also this airfield, and it's like, I've tried so hard to get rid of his airfields, I don't want him to just rebuild like that.
Colonel Burton here. Where we
Now,
going?
he's got 2 Raptors left. That's his only aircraft remaining that actually needs to go inside an airfield. Other than that, he's just got Comanches. The Chinooks, they don't count. They don't attack me.
Where we going?
And yeah, as you can see, we've still got these 2 Comanches over on the right, so it does make attacking a bit more difficult. So let's move on to our next save. So here is Burton, and like I said, pretty straightforward. We were pretty much in the same location anyway.
No obstacles.
So luring these 2 Comanches would be the next objective, so then I can get a hold over the power plants and the airfield. Since I got no bombers, I have to rely solely on Burton's ability to shoot. So I got to keep doing the stop, shoot over and over again, and not get the attention of those Comanches. And also dodge some Raptor missiles too. And as you can see, this dozer wants to take out that airfield too, so I got to also be able to prevent that from occurring. So I did try my best to stop the dozer from rebuilding this, and what I did was I basically went up close and personal,
Let's see what you got.
took some shots, and I was relying on the Raptors to take out the dozer for me.
I win.
So I was going to stay next to the dozer, let the Raptors do the work, and then dodge the Comanches and the missiles from the Raptors. So that's what occurred there. Let's see if I can do it one more time.
Deadly.
My next save is dozer stop, so it's pretty safe to say that we actually did stop the dozer
Come
here.
on, punk. Where we going?
Unit lost.
So, no, the dozer survived that one. Anyways, you get the idea. So, I'll move on.
What more is there to say?
Dozer stopped. So we stopped the dozer,
I've seen it all.
and thing is, airfield scaffold is still in play. I could try and take that down. Wasn't exactly sure what to do next, to be honest with you. I was thinking about going for this airfield. Problem with that, though, is if the Raptors touch down, that'll reveal Burton, and then all those Comanches will chase him down and kill him. So it's like I have very little time to actually take down the last 2 Raptors. So as I said, I did try and make moves on the airfield,
Our Colonel Burton
but as you can see, it reveals him. I tried different variations of attacking that airfield. I thought trying to go like up close and personal. I tried shooting from a distance. There was a few different methods of going about it.
I've seen it all.
So I also tried like shooting from there, hoping that I could run to the left enough so then I can avoid the stealth detection and then move back in to at least take out one of these Raptors. So I ended up changing up my tactics here. So with this airfield, I went back to stop shooting. So 1, 2, stop. And then wait for the planes to go away. 1, 2, stop. Over and over and over again until we actually destroyed the airfield, which is going to be our next save. 4 AF gone. So the dozer was able to rebuild that airfield, but I was able to destroy that airfield, and there's also no power planes either, so we're doing pretty well. Where's Burton? Oh yeah, he was hiding from me. So I can take down the dozer. There is going to be a risk with those Comanches too. So that is my option, so I could do that, or I can do what I did in the next save, which is Comanche lured. So I ended up luring Comanches over this way, so then I could take aim at the dozer or the airfield without getting too much attention from Granger's planes. So I can just go 1, 2, 3, stop,
I'll take anything you give me.
and then 1, 2, 3. That was a little bit greedy, but you get the idea. So I've got a lot more, you know, maneuverability over what I can and can't destroy inside Granger's base right now, because we've lured the Comanches over to here, and now they're also over here too. Oh, that Dozer's still alive.
Perfection.
Okay, now he's done. Next up, 5 AF down. So same thing, I did stop shooting over and over again, and this is the end result. No power plant, no airfield.
Right here.
Those Comanches have been lured out to the left far enough to not draw their aggro. So now I can just focus on doing the same method to the power plants, and then we can actually have a go at trying to destroy the barracks, the command center, and the supply center, which would be the most difficult buildings to take down. So let's move on to this one. As you can see, we've taken down a few of the power plants. He's got a dozer. He's still got this Comanche as well, which could be a threat, depending on how I move.
I'll be there.
But that dozer's still gonna stay over there until Granger gets a cash injection. So I can just chill out over here and focus on these power plants too. Next up, no power at all. So pretty self-explanatory. I took out all the power plants. We've still got a dozer to deal with. We've still got a CC, a barracks, and a supply center. Good news though, is that if Granger tries to rebuild his power plants or an airfield, which he could do at an airfield because he's got the supply center, it's going to be a slower rebuild because he's got no power plants in the first place. So that was what I was thinking, doing that. Problem now is the command center. That's going to be the tricky part of this mission. Okay, so it's time for the main event. We want to take down the command center with Colonel Burton with all of these Comanches hovering above nearby. So how are we going to do that? So the first thing that I've done is I've shot at this dozer here and I've taken him down to the red. I do not want to destroy the dozer. Now the reason why I don't want to destroy the dozer is because I want to allow that dozer to rebuild some buildings. So the supply plane has just come by. Now he's going to start rebuilding some power plants. Now that means that that dozer cannot repair this command center. And with Colonel Burton, I'm going to do the same thing. Stop shoot.
Come on.
1, 2, stop. But it's very risky. Sometimes I might have to just count to 1.
Let's
1.
see what you got.
And then let them fly away.
This
1,
is too
2.
easy.
So that's the thing. You can't get too greedy with this. Otherwise, you'll lose Burton. So I have to be so patient, you know, taking down this command center,
Let's get to the action.
that I have to just resort to shooting once and then stopping. If I shoot twice, I'll take a little bit of damage. But the process that I went with is 1, 2, stop, take a little damage, then just keep shooting once until I go back to full health, and then shoot 1, 2. Sometimes I could even get away with like shooting 3 times or 4 times. Sometimes the Comanches will actually just stay where they are. So you can get away with a little bit, but not too much.
Let's see what
1,
you
2,
got.
stop. So that time I didn't take any damage.
Too easy.
And that time they didn't really react until much later.
Let's see
1,
what
2,
you got.
stop. But even with this staggered shooting, I can still out-damage the repairs of this command center.
This is too easy.
So eventually, we'll be able to actually take down the command center with the Burton, and that is going to lead us into our next save. CC down. So we took down the command center, right?
Here.
And what happened was actually very
Let's get to
interesting.
the action.
All of the Comanches started flying nearby. And they're all chasing Burton.
No obstacles.
So when you destroy the command center, normally against Granger,
The action.
Granger will send all of his units to your base to try and wipe you out.
I'll take anything you
Now, because Colonel Burton is the only thing I own, it means that if I shoot and reveal Colonel Burton, every unit is going to try and chase him down wherever he is on the map. So I mean that very literally. He could be shooting here, but everyone will want a piece of Burton, including the Comanches that I lured earlier on in the battle. So, with that, I ended up focusing on luring Comanches. Okay, so with this save, I was sort of hatching a plan as to how I'm going to go about luring these Comanches, because there's still a bunch of Comanches scattered around the map. There's also a bunch of units still hanging around the main base as well, so I also got to take that into account. So what I did with Burton was I actually just moved around the map, seeing what was the best area to, you know, actually lure the Comanches to, so then I could make my next move. And it's going to lead us into our next save as well, which is going to be this one. So I ended up luring the Comanches to the bottom right corner, and as you can see, I did some control firing over here to get him over here. So if I just do this, they're all going to go a tiny bit closer. And yeah, I mean, you do it too much, then yeah, you lose Burton. So that is what I did with the Comanches. Now, next file, the attack. So all the Comanches have been lured. That means I'm in the base with no planes to worry about, and I just used Burton to attack the buildings. So Granger was able to rebuild this power plant, this power plant. He still has his barracks and supply center, so he's got 4 buildings left.
I'll be there.
So I took aim at the power plants. I've got a limited amount of time here as well.
Let's get to the action.
So I got a limited amount of time because the more I shoot, the closer the Comanches will close in on my location. So I got to be able to get rid of the power plants without the Comanches finding me.
Where are we going?
So as you can see, there's one Comanche.
Let's get to the action.
And you can also see all the infantry, and yeah, just Comanche after Comanche.
No.
So there's nothing I can really do here to Granger's remaining buildings. So that's going to lead us into our next save, which is back at base. So I ended up going all the way back to base. I'm in the corner, and I just control fired. And I'm just going to wait for the Comanches to come to my base. And then I'm going to get Burton back into Granger's base with the amount of time I've got. Of course, that's a fail, but you get the idea. So we'll go to our next save, kiting successful. So this is what it looks like when all the Comanches have been kited and they're not killing my Burton.
I'll be there.
So now with Burton, I just went all the way back to base, and now I can have another go at destroying Granger's final 2 buildings. So last save, back at Granger's base. And for this last save, I decided to use the remote demo charges on the last 2 buildings just to see what would happen. I know the supply center is a bit more tanky compared to like the power plants and the barracks, so I knew maybe the remote demo charge would be a better option compared to just shooting at the building. So that was my thought process behind that. I also got away with using the remote demo charge on the barracks too. So I had plenty of time to play with because those Comanches were even further away than the last time. And then I can just hit blow up. And that is the story of how I took down General Granger with Colonel Burton with a bajillion saves as well. So if you enjoyed my little story, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. Thank you to our members, Reneva Straighten, Jara2611, and Just Steady69. I'll see you guys in the next one.